there. Welcome to day 4 of the Instagram Live Thanksgiving How to Prep, Plan, and Cook for a Stress-Free Thanksgiving. I guess I'll just talk for a little bit until people have a chance to get here. If you're new today, welcome. Thanks for coming. And if you have seen the earlier Instagram Lives earlier this week, thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. I'm Lisa from A Menu For You, and I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks I use to cook a stress-free Thanksgiving. Because, not to stress you out, Thanksgiving is 3 weeks from today. But if you've been following along this week, you already have tips and tools to use this week to start prepping and planning for Thanksgiving that's going to already make it way less stressful for you. So, welcome. I'm going to cook 3 side dishes today. One of the common questions I get all the time when it comes to Thanksgiving is, well, actually 2 questions. How do I get everything on the table hot? And timing, like how does it all work if I only have one oven? And one of the things, Alexa, off. Sorry to any of you guys who also have the Echo device thing. One of my favorite devices ever that my husband got us. Anyway, so back to how to plan timing wise, especially if you have one oven. It's all in the side dishes. So you don't have to have every side dish that needs to be cooked or warmed up in the oven. So today I'm showing you 3. One is stovetop. So I've already got some mushrooms going on over here. I'll show you. I'm making these really delicious mushrooms with some creme fraiche and garlic and fresh herbs. So they're starting to brown a little bit. I'm gonna get them browning a little bit more and show you how to complete that dish. So that's dish number 1. Dish number 2 is a cranberry apple crisp that I'm going to show you how to make in the oven that is equal parts almost kind of dessert, a tart dessert. You could certainly use it instead of a side dish, or it's also a really nice dish in place of or in addition to cranberry sauce, because I don't know how much you guys like cranberry sauce. I'm a huge fan of the cranberry sauce in the can. And like I said yesterday, my mom growing up would make like 6 different kinds of chutney, different cranberry sauces, all homemade, and she would be so upset when no one would eat them except her. My dad would actually. My dad would eat them, but my grandmother, my grandfather, my brother and I, everyone else at the table, we were all about the canned cranberry sauce. But this is a really good crisp that is tart, a little sweet. So you can use it in place of cranberry sauce or as a less sweet dessert. And then I'm going to show you a cold dish, because I think sometimes cold dishes get forgotten a lot when it comes to Thanksgiving. So I've got some gorgeous fresh fennel and some blood oranges. I'm gonna make, and also these little pomegranate seeds. So I'm gonna show you how to make a really wonderful fennel orange pomegranate seed salad. And the great thing about salads is you can assemble it all ahead of time. I would do it the day of, a couple hours before, stick it in your refrigerator, and then when you're ready to serve, I don't dress my salad, especially if I'm feeding a big group of people, because you never know, some like more, some like less, some may not like any at all. So the great thing about a Thanksgiving salad is you don't have to worry about dressing it. Serve the salad on your sideboard, on your buffet table, put the dressing on the side, and let people dress it themselves. So we'll talk more about it when I get to that. First up, we're gonna make this cranberry apple casserole, which is from my friend Caroline. So I don't know if Caroline, are you watching? I don't know if Caroline's watching today, but if you're watching this later, this is like the best dish. I'll tell you what, it's super easy. It's super easy to make. You don't actually even have to grease a pan. I cut the recipe because the regular original recipe makes a ton, so I've cut it in half here. Actually, I think I cut it in thirds, but to show you how you make it, but without making a huge bit for myself. Any local friends out there that are watching, let me know if you would like some, because this will still make more than my family can eat. So anyway, right now I've got some fresh cranberries that I just did a quick rinse off. I put them in the Pyrex dish. Again, not buttered, not greased, just stick it in. And then you take an apple. The beauty is no peeling. So the way I like to cut an apple is, you see the core here, and you put your knife right up kind of next to the core. See, like this? And then you cut down. And you turn it, the same thing. See, it's almost like with the little core right at the edge. Right at the edge. If you want to, you can also look in the inside, because you can kind of see a little bit. This is where the seeds are. You want to do it right up next to it. And then turn it. And turn it again. And then that's it. Another tip I love, especially when I'm cooking a bunch, is I love having just a bowl I can put all of the little scraps in so I don't have to keep running back and forth to my trash can. I think it was a Rachel Ray thing I learned about, but it's genius. So keep your scrap bowl nearby, and then you just want to cut it. It doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be completely uniform size. Smaller bits will cook faster. Bigger bits will take a little longer, so you'll have kind of a mix of crunchier apple in there with a little softer apple. I'm using Honeycrisp apple. It's one of my favorites. Honeycrisp tends to be a little bit of a sweeter apple. If you want this to be even more tart, then I would suggest Granny Smith, because it would be a really good option. So you just want to add, and again, this is your dish, so if you want the ratio to be more apple than cranberry, do more apple than cranberry. If you want it more cranberry than apple, you can do it that way too. Just going to dice this up here. There we go. Just kind of sprinkle them. Again, I've cut this recipe into a third, so this might fill up a little bit. So usually it's about an apple and a half to 2 apples when I do it in a 9x13, because normally you would do this in a 9x13 pan. Uh-oh, apple overboard. There we go. All right, and if you are tuning in, make sure you wave and say hi. Okay, so now I've also got some butter. Once that's done, I've got some butter that I just melted on the stove. So I'm just gonna reheat it just a little bit. I've got a little solid. So I'm just gonna let that reheat for just a quick second. And to the bowl, I'm going to add my oats. I'm gonna add some brown sugar. Oh, that butter sizzling. I'm gonna do a rough chop of these pecans. Oh, before I start chopping, I highly recommend, just if you do a lot of cooking, which hopefully you do because that's why you're watching, is because you like to cook, I would highly recommend investing in a really good knife sharpener. I just bought this off of Amazon, and especially if you don't have one of these, go to your local, usually butchers, actually will sharpen your knives, because sharp knives actually will prevent you from cutting yourself. I know it seems a little counterintuitive because a lot of people are like, oh no, if my knife is too sharp, I'm just gonna get cut. No, if your knife is dull, that's when you get cut, because you're gonna be pushing down too firm on it. You want your knife to just kind of gently slide through everything. So I love to do just a rough cut of pecans. Feel free to add walnuts, probably would be really good with this. But I always buy a ton of pecans during the holidays because they're just kind of the base for most everything I make. And then I'm gonna grab a spoon. Just gonna do a quick check on my mushrooms. So you wanna cook the mushrooms until mushrooms have a lot of liquid in them. So you wanna cook them, see how gorgeous they are, nice and brown. You're still like that little one over there. You wanna cook them, this part takes about 10 minutes. You wanna make it nice and golden brown, and you want all that liquid to absorb, which is why you cover them up. So they're just cooking a little bit of butter and olive oil. So we will revisit those in a few minutes. Meanwhile, we're going to add the melted butter to the oats and the brown sugar and the pecans. If you're just tuning in, today I'm making 3 different side dishes, showing you one in the oven, one on the stove, and a cold one, because I get a lot of questions from you. I've gotten a lot of questions this week about timing, about how to work with one oven, about how to get everything on the table hot. So I wanted to show you that not every side dish has to go in the oven. So we're just gonna mix this up. In the meantime, I'm gonna put a little bit of sugar, sweeten things up. You can omit this if you want this to be a little bit more on the tart side. I'm just gonna do a little bit of sugar. There we go. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna add some more oats, because if you can see, the oats are pretty wet and I want them to be a little bit more dry. So I'm just gonna go grab my oats from the pantry. Again, I'm cutting this recipe into like a third, so I'm pretty much just eyeballing what it should look like. But there is an actual recipe, and I will post it to Thanksgiving Feast The Thanksgiving feast, all the recipes I have right now for Thanksgiving are up live on the website. So I will be adding this one as well. And it'll have like the regular measurements. So there we go. So you want it a little bit, the topping should be a little bit drier, not so wet. And if you like less crisp, you can cut the crisp topping in half. But honestly, the crisp topping, is one of the best things. So, and I like to use, I find that, see here, I've used the finer oats. I think they just cook better than the really large oats. And the large oats tend to, I hate crisps when it's still kind of half raw. So I find that the smaller oats do better. You just spread it across the top. And you can make it up to this point and just stick it in your fridge and then bake it the next day. So you can make this on Wednesday, and then you can bake it Thursday morning, Thanksgiving morning, and then just reheat it. This is one of the things that you'd reheat, like we talked about on Tuesday, on the turkey day. This is one of the dishes that you can easily reheat while your turkey is resting. So again, you can make it on, you can actually assemble it just like this on Wednesday, cook it Thursday morning, or you can even cook it on Wednesday and reheat it. I do think the crisp, you might need to put it under your broiler to get the crisp kind of back again. So it goes into a 350-degree oven. Set my timer. We're gonna do one more quick check on mushrooms. And then, yeah, these are getting there. See look how gorgeous. When you get them brown like that, it lends like a nice kind of crispiness and really brings out almost like the smoky, earthy flavor even more of the mushrooms. And you can see too, there's so much liquid to begin with that now there's a lot less. These are almost, I think I'm gonna set, again, I'm so sorry if you have an Alexa at home. Your Alexa's gonna be setting the timer a lot while you watch this. Alexa, set timer for 3 minutes. And then through the magic of Instagram Live, here is what it looks like, all nice and toasty. So it's gonna be all nice and toasty. I like to serve it in like a nice little gratin dish. So this is what the crisp looks like after you make it. So you're gonna stick that up there. That's all done. And then we're gonna put our focus on the salad. Actually, no, we're gonna do the mushrooms next because the mushrooms are almost done. So do you guys have any questions while I'm kind of cleaning up my little space over here? Any questions about side dishes? Or I got some really good ideas from viewers yesterday about favorite side dishes. So feel free to pipe in if you have any favorite side dishes. Okay, so clean this up. So to the mushrooms, I'm gonna add a little bit of minced garlic and parsley, and then cook for like an additional, like 5 minutes. Oops, where's my jug? There we go. So I'm gonna mince up the garlic right now. Do a quick rinse with my knife. So if you saw my stories, my live yesterday, I started talking about timing and planning and what you should be doing this week. So I can recap that for anyone that's new watching. This week is a really good week to order your turkey. In fact, has anyone ordered your turkey? By show of hands, you can raise your hand, give a thumbs up if anyone's ordered their turkey, because this is absolutely the week to do it. So you want to order your turkey this week. You also want to plan out your menu. What are you cooking? What are people bringing? And you also want to lay out all of your serving platters, forks, knives, glasses. Make sure you have enough napkins. Make sure you have enough seating. Do you need to rent tables? Do you need to rent chairs? So that's all. Those are all things you can easily be doing this week to get a head jump on Thanksgiving. So you just want to mince up. I usually do just about a clove. And there's a pound of mushrooms in there right now. So do just a clove, nice and minced up. And when you're chopping, you always want to hold your knife in one hand. Your other hand should go on top of the knife, and your knife actually never comes off the board. So it rocks. It's a rocking motion the whole time. So you can see as I'm mincing up, you just go back and forth and use your finger to kind of scrape the garlic off. And you never ever want to scrape your board knife down. If you're scraping to get the garlic kind of back together again, you always want to do it with the top of the knife. Because if you do it with the bottom, with the blade of your knife, you're likely to dull it. So you always want to do it with the top of the knife, not the blade. And I think we're good on this. Okay, so I'm going to go add, Alexa, off. I'm going to add some fresh parsley that I diced up too. I'll dice up. Let's see.
Fresh parsley to your shopping list.
Okay, and now this part goes really quickly with the mushrooms. So I'm going to uncover, to turn down my heat, Alexa off, and see now there's really no liquid. All the liquid's evaporated, and the mushrooms are nice and Alexa off. I swear someone's just listen to me. She's like my kids. Okay, so golden brown. So while they just kind of sit there for a second, I'm going to chop up some parsley and grab the crème fraîche. Because, like I said, the longest part of cooking the mushrooms is the initial, just getting into this lovely golden brown part. And this next part goes pretty quickly. This is a super, super easy side dish. Also, easily made the day before. Easily made the day before and just reheated on your stove. You want to reheat it really on very, very low heat. It shouldn't be simmering. It should definitely not be boiling because of the crème fraîche. It will, you don't want it to separate. Or if you're worried about that, you can make it, add the garlic, add the parsley, let it cook around for a couple of minutes, and then store it just like that in your fridge, and then you can finish it off with the crème fraîche on Thanksgiving. So you want to add that, and then this just takes a couple of minutes. It smells so good. Turn this around. And you also, whenever you're cooking with garlic, you only want to cook garlic a couple of minutes anyway, just enough to flavor a dish, because you don't want to risk browning garlic, because browned garlic tastes bitter, and you definitely do not want your garlic to taste bitter. So, I'm going to go get the crème fraîche next. And I have found that crème fraîche can definitely be a little pricey, but I love Trader Joe's. This is not Trader Joe's brand, but Trader Joe's makes a really great, crème fraîche. So I highly recommend theirs. This Vermont Creamery is also really good. And the recipe calls for, I think it's just a half a cup goes in. Let me just do a quick double check. Yep, it's just half a cup. So I just need, I'm not even going to measure. I'm going to eyeball it. This is 8 ounces, so I just need about half of this. You just spoon the crème fraîche in, and you're just going to stir it until it kind of, thickens up. And then you're done. And you also want to make sure that the stove is on low heat when you do this. You don't want it too high. If you feel like it's getting a little too high, you can move it off your burner. It's between burners. It just kind of melts. Oh, this is so good. And this literally is like the easiest side dish. This also is really good on toast for sandwiches. If you toast up some baguette, oh my gosh. It's really good. And what's nice about the crème fraîche, it adds like a really nice tartness. So between the tartness of the crème fraîche, you've got the herbaceousness of the parsley. It just is really, really, really delicious pairing for the earthy mushrooms. And you can use any mushrooms with this. These are brown button mushrooms, but you can use crummy mushrooms, you can use chanterelle mushrooms. I wouldn't use morels because morels have such a really distinct flavor, but you can use any mushroom, white mushrooms, and see, it just kind of thickens up into this glorious, amazing sauce. Couple more minutes. So as I said, this part, once you add the crème fraîche, it goes really quickly. So if you feel better about adding the crème fraîche and finishing up the dish the day of Thanksgiving, then you can do this. You can actually just have someone do this while everything else is warming in the oven. The turkey is resting. Your other side dishes are warming in the oven. You can finish up the mushrooms. Super easy. Oh, it smells so good. They're so good. Alrighty. So that's what they look like. I usually just serve them in kind of a nice shallow bowl because they have the sauce. You don't want to serve them on a plate because the sauce will go all over the place. So I like to serve them in like a shallow bowl. You can scoop up all that glorious creme fraiche buttery sauce. Okay? Dish number 2 done. I'm gonna turn the stove off. And last but not least, we are gonna tackle, I'm just gonna wash my cutting board. We're gonna tackle the salad. So like I said, salad is a really good way to also have a side dish that you don't have to worry about reheating. You can make it ahead of time. You can assemble it. Because you're using a lot of vegetables, you can use whatever vegetables you want. You can make a salad with carrots and tomatoes, whatever is fresh in your local market. You can do broccoli. You can slice up thin broccoli, thinly sliced radishes. But because you're using veggies, I would not recommend making it the salad more than a day ahead. So basically, this is something that you're gonna make Thanksgiving morning, and you can just stick it in your fridge. So right now, I've got some arugula. I love arugula because it's got that peppery bite. But again, you can use whatever salad you like. You can use it for mixes. You can use romaine. You can use butter lettuce. A combination. I just tend to like arugula because I mean that peppery bite is really crispness. So then we're gonna cut up the fennel. Again, I love fennel because it's got that wonderful licoricey taste. Make sure you keep fennel fronds because these also taste really good in salad. So don't toss that out. I like to usually strip the fennel fronds off. I set them aside. And the stalks you can also put in your freezer. If you've been watching me a while, you know that I love taking extra veggie scraps. I'll stick them in a bag in my freezer and I'll make veggie stock with them. So you can do that as well. And then as far as fennel goes, so once you've cut it off, usually set it, oops, got off too. You want to set it on the cut side because the cut side's not going to roll around. And this is again why you have a sharp knife. And then just cut it down into the center, like that. Fennel, to clean it, I like to thinly slice it first, and then I'll toss it into my colander. So I've got a colander that I just rinsed off with something else, all nice and clean. You can use a mandolin for this too. I just tend to like my knife. And then you cut really thin slices. I probably should be wearing my glasses for this, but. So you almost want them to be like transparent. They're super, super thin. And then throw all the little slices in the colander. And then you're gonna rinse them really well underwater because you wanna make sure that the fennel is really clean. So you can also do this part. Fennel is a hardier vegetable, so it lasts a long time. So if you want to, when you go shopping, grocery shopping on Monday for all of your groceries, come home and do this. If you're working, order Instacart. Instacart's great. There's so many grocery delivery services. You can also use that as well to save yourself some time. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this whole thing up to save time. Speaking of time. Okay, so you see what I mean. It's very thin, kind of almost ribbon-like. You can also use a mandolin. I'm gonna give it a quick rinse. Feel free to chime in if you have any questions. Or just give a thumbs up or a wave to say hi. If you're watching this as a replay, sorry I missed you. Alrighty, so now this all goes in the salad. Alrighty, and I'm also going to, I love pomegranate. Love pomegranate seeds. And plus it's just so festive because the salad's like red and green, so you can also do this for Christmas. So I just do like a little sprinkle. Sprinkle pomegranate seeds. Okay, and then you can also, this is a blood orange. I think blood oranges are so, oh God, they're gorgeous. I mean, look how gorgeous that is inside. This is the perfect time. Blood oranges are winter fruit, so this is the perfect time. Let's see if I can do this without making a mess. I'm might be able to do this without making a mess. But blood oranges is a perfect time. So I would love to stick some blood oranges in here, and then I'll show you a really easy way to make a vinaigrette. See, it usually just peels off pretty well, and then you can cut it. I usually use a serrated knife, honestly, so I'm gonna go get a serrated knife. So I find serrated knives work better and don't squish the orange as much. So I'm gonna get my serrated knife. And then you can just cut little slices. Or you can, however you want, you can do thin slices. You can do just little triangles like this. We'll throw those in. Okay, so you get the idea there. And then I did wash the fennel seeds, or the fennel fronds already. So I'm just gonna add these. Just do a quick chop, chop, chop. I love fresh herbs. In salad, do that. And then my tip for making dressing is mason jar. So what I usually love to do is I'll take some blood orange, because I always like a vinaigrette that mimics the same flavors as the salad. So I will squeeze some orange right directly into the mason jar. And actually I will hold it over the bowl because any juice that escapes will just go into the salad. Okay. I mean, look at how gorgeous. Look how gorgeous that color is. Blood orange is just, it's my favorite citrus. It really is. It's so delicious. Sweet and tangy. So I think I might do a little bit more. And I'm gonna add some olive oil. I'll add a little mustard, salt and pepper, and that will be the dressing. Okay, that's good enough for the, whoops, that's good enough. There, I'm gonna add a little olive oil. Add a little salt and pepper. I'll grab a little mustard. And then the great thing is I just give it a good shake and it'll be all done. Oh, let's see, do I not have any? Oh, there it is, it's waiting. And then the thing with dressing too is just taste as you go. If the dressing is a little too tart, add a little sweetness. So sweetness would be a little sugar. If it's too oily, add a little bit more tartness. Like with that vinegar, you can do a little pepper. And these recipes will all be up on the website. Actually, the fennel orange salad is already up on the website. I don't think I added, that salad that's on the website might not have the pomegranate seeds. That's the great thing about salads is you can just add what you like. If there's other winter veggies you like, just add them. So you put all your ingredients in here and then shake away. I didn't put any vinegar in here, so I might, and then just taste it. Okay, that needs a little bit more salt. I'll rinse my hands off here. I'm gonna put a little bit, it needs a little bite of vinegar. I like a little more acid because blood oranges are sweet, so you're not gonna get much acid at all. You won't get any acid at all. Oops, this is not good yet. You won't get any acid at all from it. So I'm gonna add, oh, there we go. A little balsamic vinegar to it. Again, you can add champagne vinegar, tarragon vinegar, apple cider vinegar would be really good. I'm gonna do a little balsamic vinegar. Tarten it up a little bit. And then just play around with it. Put the lid back on. And the salad dressing will last about a week in your fridge. I actually might even put another scoop of mustard in here. Let's see. No, that's perfect. That's all it needed, a little balsamic vinegar. Anyway, and this will last for a week in your fridge. So there you have it. 3 Thanksgiving sides. You've got the cold side, salad. Again, you don't need to worry about having all your sides be hot. Feel free to make a salad, even make a couple of salads. You can do a couple of different variations of salad if you want. It's super easy to make. You can make it the day in the morning and then just serve it alongside salad dressing. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't dress it. I would serve the dressing on the side. And then we did the mushrooms. Mushrooms, really good on the stove, nice and creamy, delicious. You can prep your mushrooms on Wednesday, finish cooking them on Thursday if you want. And then of course the cranberry apple crisp. So you can make that on Tuesday or Wednesday and then it goes in the oven to reheat while your turkey comes out and roasts. And there you have it, folks. 3 super easy, delicious, amazing sides for Thanksgiving. Tomorrow, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's already Friday and the last day of these IG Lives. Tomorrow is all about sweets and dessert. I feel like we started Monday with pie crust. We should end with sweets. So tomorrow I'll be making pies, a couple other surprises for the dessert table. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific time here on Instagram Live. All the recipes are up on the Thanksgiving Feast on the website, amenuforyou.com. I'll put the mushroom and the crisp up today, so those are coming. And have a great day. Happy Thursday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.